Breaking news late Thursday night. The University of Michigan flips the commitment of the top-rated quarterback Bryce Underwood. And it turns out, thanks to a guy who went to the University of Illinois. What? Locked On Illini. Let's go.
You are Locked On Illini, your daily podcast on the Illinois Fighting Illini. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
First off, I want to be grateful to FanDuel for sponsoring this breaking news edition. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. My name is Sunny Verma. Most of you guys know me, and you're probably wondering why is Illinois somehow related to the breaking news that happened on Thursday, where Bryce Underwood decided to flip his commitment from LSU to the University of Michigan. I was sitting back, relaxing on a Thursday. I just recorded Friday's episode, which, by the way, is going to be an absolute banger. And then this news falls in my lap. I'm just like, hey, you know what? Cheers to Michigan. Good for them. And then I read this tweet from the Champion Circle, which I believe is the University of Michigan's NIL or something along those lines. If you guys know specifically what it is, let me know. By the way, this is a live episode, so I'll get to your guys' comments in a little bit. So we want to thank our founding members and others associated with Champion Circle who have worked tirelessly behind the scenes to make it possible to continue our work building championship teams at Michigan. Founding member and chairman Nate Forbes said, "We are excited to keep Bryce home in Michigan as he continues to build his legacy." And here we go. "I want to personally thank Jalen and Larry Ellison, who were instrumental in making this happen by providing Champion Circle with invaluable guidance and financial resources." Now, if you don't know anything about this story, who cares? It's Michigan. It doesn't matter. It does matter. Larry Ellison is worth $231 million. No, did I say million? Larry Ellison is worth $231 billion. The founder of Oracle, I believe, I did a little research right before this episode. It's either the second or fourth richest man in the world, Larry Ellison. You know why I have an issue with this? You know where Larry Ellison went to college? Larry Ellison went to college at the University of Illinois. We were this close. This close. It turns out Larry Ellison's girlfriend goes to the University of Michigan. The girlfriend goes to the University of Michigan. The rumors are now that Bryce Underwood got about $12 million in NIL to come play for the Wolverines and ultimately flip from LSU. I know a lot of the hype was for Brad, what's his name? Dave Portnoy, the founder of Barstool, but even he said so himself in a tweet that happened post-flip commitment that while he's getting a lot of the credit, it's a lot of Michigan people who are kind of coming together and making this happen for the Michigan Wolverines football team. A lot of Michigan people. Larry Ellison's not a Michigan people. This kind of shows you that, again, my everydayers in here, by the way, please say hello in the chat for those of you guys who are with me every single day. You guys know I love Josh Whitman. He's done a fantastic job here at the University of Illinois. Literally, just a couple days ago, I released an episode talking about how the University of Illinois has never been in such an ideal situation when it comes to our men's and women's basketball team and our football team, of course, and just even the other non-revenue sports. Illinois is, for the most part, succeeding. And again, this isn't a bitterness episode. This is just one of those where I like to talk to my fellow alumni or just fans of the university to show you just how close this all is, right? Right now, the name of the game with college, not just college football, with college athletics is NIL. No longer are you just counting on your head coach or your coaching staff being able to make a great recruiting pitch. For the most part, it just counts on who has the money and who doesn't. Illinois, we know on the basketball side, has a good amount of money. I from what I've gathered from the people that I talk to, one of which who is a pretty big donor, we're probably in the top 10 to 15 when it comes to college on the basketball side. Football side, we still have some work to do. I think Brett Bielema himself said that we were in like the middle tier when it comes to the Big Ten Conference. Obviously, now we've got 18 teams in the Big Ten Conference. So, you're talking about a big tier, but we're working our ways up. The University of Illinois has some famous alumni. We've got, now granted, Larry Ellison was not an alumni of the University of Illinois. So let me go ahead and acknowledge that part. Larry Ellison, he attended the University of Illinois, but ultimately dropped out. But as I mentioned, a quick Google search shows that the guy's worth $231 billion. The founders of YouTube also went to the University of Illinois. I don't have to bring up Shad Khan. I have no issues with Shad Khan, the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Tottenham Hotspur. From what I've gathered, he actually does do a pretty good job in contributing, like whether it's his plane and some sort of financial benefits to the university. So this is not so much about Shad, but the infamous PayPal Mafia. Guess where they went to school? University of Illinois. This is an episode for those of us who take pride in the academic performance and reputation of the University of Illinois, but who also wish that there was a slight difference on the athletic side. Because again, right now, academically, we're right up there. You're talking about like top 20, top 25 school, whatever, by whichever metric you kind of look at. But when you talk about Silicon Valley and some of these tech companies, a lot of their founders, CEOs, the people in charge, they're coming from the University of Illinois. And again, I'm laughing. This is not an upset episode. I'm just laughing at just how close we are to have just one or two of these guys to want to become that super donor. That, again, even Dave Portnoy, who said he was going to himself offer $3 million a year, basically, to Michigan for NIL. $3 million a year for Dave Portnoy, it's not a lot of money, but it's still a decent amount of money. $3 million a year for Larry Ellison is nothing. Larry Ellison can find that money in the change in his couch. And again, when you think of companies like PayPal, when you think of companies like YouTube, and I know ultimately they sold it to Google. When you think of companies like Oracle, of course, and there's plenty more out there. I'm just going with the very generic ones. This is more of an episode talking about how I hope at some point the success of our current Illini athletics department and the different teams that we have start making an impression on those students that are there right now. Those guys who are there to study, who are there on scholarship, who are there to become future, Nobel Prize winners or whatever it might be. The future founders of the next billion-dollar tech company, who in the past, for obvious reasons, may not have had much reason to pay attention to the athletic side because they never became fans themselves. There was no need to go to the football game. There was maybe no need to go to the basketball game, especially if there were fans recently. And I apologize if I'm having some slight internet issues. This episode's basically more of I actually consider this a hopeful episode. One that soon we can convert our success that we're having on the athletics side to money and NIL to help support these athletic programs so that they continue to get better and be able to afford these Bryce Underwoods. We're so close, guys. I promise you we're so close. We've got the coaching staff here. We've got the leadership here. The only thing at this point that we're kind of lacking is the financial support. Not that there aren't worse out there. There's certainly a lot worse out there. But we're not quite there yet. And Bryce Underwood right now, the University of Michigan, is celebrating getting the number one quarterback. I believe he's the number one commit of next year's class because of a guy who went to the University of Illinois. You know, it is what it is. I know some of you don't like to discuss NIL. I know some of you find this topic annoying, but it's what college athletics is from this point forward. We just have to deal with it. It's the quicker we embrace it, the quicker we acknowledge that this is what college athletics is like, and we get over the notion that this isn't professional. Like there's nothing amateur about college athletics anymore. Everything, the same way the NFL is about money, the same way the NBA is about money. All our favorite college football teams are the Big Ten Conference. It's all run by TV media money. You know, I have very few things to say about Josh Whitman. He's a guy who elevated all these programs to certain levels that we've never really achieved before. But I do wonder if there's an opportunity, and if there is, he's going to find it. You know, Bob Johnson, I can't confirm this, but Bob Johnson, the former owner of the Charlotte Bobcats, supposedly, you know, an alum of the University of Illinois, is a guy who, when he owned Charlotte Bobcats, and I can't confirm this story, this is just hearsay, right? Like, I know the same people that you guys know. Guy's worth, I think, $300 million. Or it might even be $500 million. He wanted to have a preseason game with the Bobcats at the University of Illinois campus. And for whatever reason, the leadership that we had in charge back then made it complicated for him. And the game never ended up happening. And guess who hasn't contributed financially since? There's a way. I understand that the University of Illinois has its focus on academics. And you know what? I appreciate that. I really do. I know personally, as much of a sports fan as I might be, my degree itself is worth something in the academic universe as well. But there's a lot of us who are not only proud of our academic side at the University of Illinois, we see the potential that it has on the athletic side, especially if those who took their academics so seriously are able to contribute financially and make the athletic side one of the bona fide premier programs, which really at this point, again, as sad as it is, all it takes is the financial resources for it. Larry Ellison's worth $231 million. There's no connection to the University of Michigan that I know of, and I've reached out to multiple Michigan people tonight once I heard this news. Outside the fact that his girlfriend went to I believe went to the University of Michigan. $231 billion that Illinois could have had. And my hope is in the future, we're absolutely going to have. Again, Appreciate you guys stopping by for my little vent session. I apologize if the connection isn't as clear as I wanted it to be. Just know I'm here every single day, so if you're here for the first time, please support the channel. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I know a lot of you like to, it's become an inside joke, complain that I always wear my hats backwards. I got the hat wearing frontwards, promoting the show. That's right, Locked On Illini merch. Please hit that like button, subscribe button on your way out. I promise you Friday's episode is an absolute banger. I'm talking about the Alabama. I'm reviewing the basketball game. And, okay, we do have a couple comments. Trojan Wolverine, thank you, Trojan, for joining us. How should Michigan thank Illinois? And Kyle Bauman's asking, Let me get to the, so let me answer you guys' question. And you guys may have tuned in late, so I'm not, I don't blame you. Now, the headline may have been a little clickbaity. Of course, I want you guys to tune in. And a lot of you, we've got about 40 people in here now, tuned in a little late. What I meant by this was I read the Champion Circle official release once Bryce Underwood made that official flip from LSU to the University of Michigan. And the first name that was mentioned that was integral for this flip was Larry Ellison, the CEO, the founder of Oracle. I believe the fourth richest man in the entire world, someone who's worth $231 billion. Larry Ellison went to the University of Illinois. And so what I've been kind of discussing over the last 16, 17 minutes is how the University of Illinois has an incredible amount of Nobel winners in its alum history. We have plenty when it comes to representation out there in Silicon Valley, including Oracle, YouTube, PayPal, and there's more that I'm just simply not thinking of right now. So this episode was mainly tied to just how close we could be to be one day be able to get a guy like Bryce Underwood ourselves. $3 million is a lot of money to us. $3 million is a lot of money to a guy like Dave Portnoy, who I believe is worth like $150 million. I know he's getting a lot of the public credit for this, and I get it. He's a popular figure. But literally in the Champion Circle, they mentioned Larry Ellison. So you look up his net worth, $231 billion. If he's worth $231 billion, I'm not doing the straight math for you, but let's just say that's like maybe a day out at the bar for Larry Ellison, or for one of us, compared to his net worth. So yeah, that was, again, a quick breaking news episode. Thank you for joining me for it. I figured this was noteworthy enough. There was simply, Happy asks, what about Khan? Isn't he loaded? He absolutely is. Shad Khan contributes to the university, and we should be very grateful for him. The University of Illinois, he has all the reason in the world to be upset with the university. I think they tried to take away an honorary degree a couple years back, but Josh Whitman, amongst others, has kind of won him back over. And he allows the university to use his private jet, amongst other things, to help the athletics department. So he is contributing his way, but he's not the only guy. I think he's probably the most popular Illini alum that we have now, at least when it comes to the super wealthy. That's not where my attention is. My attention is on some of the other names out there in Silicon Valley who really, I just wish we had as good of an athletic department back then as we do now, because I think had we had that when they were in school, they'd be a little bit more supportive of the athletic department that we have now. But things can change. That's why I said it. I'm super excited about the future of Illinois sports now, because I believe that the future could lead to more opportunities like this, where all of a sudden we will have our own Dave Portnoy or Larry Ellison, even though he went to the University of Illinois. But people who are proud to be at this university. And don't get me wrong, I'm appreciative of all these guys, Geese. I graduated from the business school at University of Illinois, so of course I'm appreciative of them. But I wouldn't mind it if there's one guy who's just like, you know what? I want the University of Illinois to win a college football national championship in my lifetime. Here's a blank check. Is it going to happen? I have no idea. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. Again, this was supposed to be a 10-minute episode. This just ended up me being just talking about the whole situation when it comes to NIL. It's very fluid, obviously. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Please, if you're here for the first time, show your support. Just hit that subscribe button for me real quick. It's my goal to hit 2,000 by the end of the calendar year. I'm here making Illini content every single day for you. Tomorrow's episode is fantastic. I'm reviewing the Alabama University of Illinois basketball game. Rutgers, Illinois, obviously coming up on Saturday. It's a good one. Please, I appreciate all of your support. And again, it's going to happen, and I believe it's going to happen in my lifetime. We're going to find that financial support that we need. For now, congratulations to the University of Michigan. But if you have any University of Michigan fans in your life, go ahead and ask for a thank you card. ILL, love you guys.